You were not meant to be a slave to the grind. You were not meant to trade your life force for money. You can escape gravity. You can unlock your life. You got this. Let's go.
Welcome to Unlock Your Life. Jennings here. We're going to be talking about unlocking your life because you're not meant to be a slave to money. You're not meant to just trade your life force away for something that you don't care about. You're meant to pursue your passions and to live life to the fullest and fulfill your potential. Guys, about 6 years ago, I was running my construction company. I used to build custom homes and do renovations. And I was, mediocre at best. And I got approached with this new opportunity to be a part of a franchise. I could own the master territory for my whole state, and it was going to be great. They were going to streamline operations, and I was super excited about it. I learned about it, and my wife was super apprehensive about this, right? She did not like it from the very first meeting that I had with this guy that was trying to recruit me into this franchise. And as I went down the road and she saw me become more and more sure about this is probably the direction I'm going to take, the more and more freaked out she got about it, the more upset she got about it. We started fighting about it. And it was a big upheaval, right? I'm going to pay this franchise fee of, I think it was $50,000, and I'm going to be giving them a royalty of 4% of my revenues forever. They're going to own my brand. I'm going to have to change my brand name. And it was a big, big decision. But there were some issues that I just had not been able to solve in my company on my own. And I believed extremely strongly that this was the path. This was what I had to do. And I mean, it was a big deal. Like, we argued and talked, and eventually, she kind of begrudgingly said, well, whatever, whatever you want to do, just do it. And I ended up doing it, and it ended up being a good thing. It did. However, it did not feel good to not be supported by my spouse. And I really needed to get her permission. I needed to get her on board. And that was not an easy task. And so this show today is talking about, what do you do when you want to grow your business? Maybe you want to start a new business. Maybe you want to invest in something, and you're trying to get your spouse on board with it. And for whatever reason, they are not on board. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Here's some things to look out for in your spouse that are red flags, okay? So if you're seeing these things, then this show is probably for you. Number one, maybe your spouse is kind of babysitting you. Like, you feel like they're almost like your mom or your dad, right? Depending on if you're man or woman here listening. They're babysitting you. Maybe they're micromanaging you. They need to know every detail about what you're doing, and they need to be on board. There's really not a whole lot of faith there. Maybe they're looking over your shoulder with the stuff that you're doing. Maybe they're checking on your spending. What are you buying for your business? What are you buying for yourself? They're checking the bank accounts. They're checking, are there enough funds in there? There's just no trust. And there's not a whole lot of faith and belief in your dreams and what you want to do. So you want to solve this problem, and that's why you're listening to this show. And here is exactly what you can say to completely change this situation with your spouse. You ready? Nothing. You can't say anything that is going to matter. You can't say anything that is going to move that needle whatsoever. Why? Because if you're in this situation, that is caused 100% by you. I'm going to go back to, my example with the construction company. The reason my wife did not believe or have faith or was just totally on board with that was caused 100% by me. That wasn't her fault. She wasn't doing anything wrong. That was a direct result of where I had brought her to that point. So you might be thinking, whoa, I thought this was about my spouse. I thought this was about my spouse's problems and fixing my spouse. Like, take it easy, Jennings. Like, I wanted a feel-good message today. Well, you can't control your spouse. And it's a good thing that you don't have to. Because if you find yourself in this scenario, you've got to look inward because you can change yourself. That's what can change, which will in turn change your scenario. So what do I mean by looking inward? And what do I mean by you are causing this scenario? Simply put, you can't hide from your spouse, right? They see you. It's kind of like if you have kids, like your child's character. You know what they're capable of. You know what they're not capable of. You know their strengths. You know their weaknesses. You know whether they're organized, they pick up their toys, or if they leave them everywhere. If they're forgetful or they're responsible. Your spouse knows you inside and out. They know your strengths. They know your weaknesses. They know your flaws. And, they look at your decision through that lens. So let's say you've told your spouse, hey, I'm going to work out. I want to get in shape. I'm going to, be cut. I'm going to lose some weight and it's going to be new me. And they see you go to the gym January 1st and they see you quit January 8th or 10th or whatever. They see you half-heartedly do stuff. They see you not following the diet. They see you crushing bags of Doritos. So if you can't even discipline your body, right, to do what you say you're going to do, why is this any different? Why is this business opportunity or this risk that you're about to take on or this grand scheme that you have, why is that any different? Because that's going to be hard too. That's going to take discipline too. That isn't going to be easy. And he gives up when stuff gets hard. He doesn't stick with things that are too difficult. He's not doing what he said he was going to do. Maybe you talked about big deals, big checks, big businesses, the lifestyle that you're going to have. And I think it's good to dream. And this isn't about tearing you down, but it's about seeing the truth as it is. You talk about these things, and yet, where is your focus? Is your focus on video games? Is your focus on watching TV? Is your focus on your fantasy football league? Is your focus on drinking beer with your buddies and being hungover on Saturday and not engaging with your family, not engaging with your kids? Or are you working towards those goals? Are you working on that business? Are you dedicating the time, effort that it's going to take to deliver on those dreams that you're talking about? Dreams are fine. Dreams are great. We all got to have dreams. We got to have goals. And I think we should dream as big as we can. But when she sees the dreams without the ability to back them up, without the discipline and willpower to put in the work that it's going to take to achieve those dreams, when she sees the soft choices of, you know what, I'm going to lay on the couch and watch this football game. Or I know I said I was going to get up at 5 a.m., but my alarm's been going off and I'm tired and now it's 7:30 and now I'm behind on the day. She sees that. Or he sees that. Your spouse sees that. You can't hide that from them. They know. They see the good. They see the bad. Security is what your spouse is focused on a lot of times. And if they're worried about where's the next check, can this person pay the mortgage? Can my spouse pay the mortgage? Is my credit card going to get declined at the grocery store? If they're worried about that, it's really hard for them to have faith and belief in this next big investment that you're going to plunk down and then, months later abandon. Oh, that was too hard. Oh, that didn't work. Whatever excuse you have as to why it didn't work. So if you're being treated like a second-class citizen, if you're being treated like a kid, you've got to look inward. Am I acting like a kid? Am I acting like a second-class citizen? They don't want to treat you this way. That's the cool thing about this situation. And that's why I have so much confidence in that it can be fixed. Because your spouse doesn't want to treat you this way. They want to trust you. They want to treat you like a king or a queen. They want to be your biggest cheerleader. They want to be your biggest fan. You just got to give them the ability to do it. And trust feels amazing. It really does. Like earlier this year, well, let me go back. So I did the thing with the Allaire, the construction franchise, and I did put in the work. And I did change my disciplines, and I did change my habits, and I did buy into a lot of their systems and habits, and there were some really powerful people in there that helped me grow my mindset a lot, and I grew leaps and bounds over the next 3 or 4 years. And so when I was ready to make my next iteration, which was sell the construction company and go into multifamily full-time, it was easier. There was still some trepidation there with buying this first $5 million complex. I can't say my wife was super thrilled about it, but there was a lot less pushback than there had been a couple years ago when I made that big change because I was getting up. I was working. I had successfully grown this business. I had successfully sold this company. And so there was another brick in the wall of faith and trust. And then as I closed deal after deal, that trust continued to grow. Then in 2019, I decided, hey, I'm going to quit using tobacco. And I've talked about this on the podcast before. And so going through a whole year, my wife watching me not have any alcohol, no tobacco, no nothing for a year. And about halfway through that year, starting to work out consistently 3 days a week and to keep with that for 2.5 years now. That's different, right? That's very different than who I was 6 years ago. And so earlier this year, I wanted to make some new bets. I wanted to do some new things, right? Beyond the status quo of what I had been doing. And I made some bets into crypto. Quite a bit of our liquid cash, I went into some cryptocurrencies and made those bets. And there really wasn't a whole lot of pushback at all at this point, right? Because now I'm bringing home the bacon. I'm making things happen. I'm having the discipline. I'm getting results. She's seeing that. And so that trust is there. And it feels amazing. I bought a Ferrari. I told her, hey, this is going to be a good investment. We can buy this Ferrari and if we hack this car and buy the right year and the right make, the right model, then we can make money with this car. And I've researched it. And instead of her being like, yeah, okay, whatever, you're going to make money on a Ferrari, she believed me. And I did it. And we did make money on the Ferrari. It's worth $30,000 more than I paid for it. And I got a cool car, which is cool. And that's just another brick in the wall of faith. I signed a contract with a consultant, and it's $5,000 a month for social media services. And, even to me, it seems crazy to spend that kind of money on it. And we'll see if it works out or pans out. But I didn't have to ask her permission to do that, right? To take on this business expense because we've earned that trust. If I had tried to do that 4 or 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, trust me, there would have been a lot of pushback about that. So what you got to do is you got to keep your word. When you start keeping your word, things are going to change. You say you're going to get up at 5 a.m. and you do get up at 5 a.m. That's keeping your word. You say you're going to work out and you do work out. That's keeping your word. You say you're going to get results in your business and you focus on your business and you do get results. That's keeping your word. When you're going to close a deal and you close the deal and you make it happen, no matter what, you get it across the finish line. That's getting results. When you harden yourself, when you discipline yourself, this is when things change with your spouse. Because nothing that you say is going to matter. Nothing that you can convince her, no mindset techniques or tactics. You can't lie to them. They live with you. They know you. They see the real you. But when you start getting those results, you're going to have them backing you. You're going to have them cheering you on. You're going to be walking into battle every day, and they're going to be handing you the sword. They're going to be handing you your armor and cheering you forward. It starts with you. Stop talking about it. Stop saying it. Start doing it. Guys, that's all I got for you today. Hope you have a great week. And remember to unlock your life. Peace.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.